Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. So for a few months now, I've been thinking about massively upgrading my internet connection. My old internet speeds were absolutely awful, and the TP-Link Wi-Fi system I also previously had just kept dropping out in certain areas of the house, which was just really annoying. I figured it was just best to start from scratch. So a few days ago, I got gigabit internet installed, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about the setup process. Gigabit internet basically just means that you can achieve download speeds of 1000 megabytes per second. Now, to put that in perspective, my current download speed on my home broadband is about 12 to 14 megabytes per second. Now obviously with those kind of download speeds, you're going to need a Wi-Fi mesh system that can cope with gigabit internet. So what I've got here is the Amplifi Alien router and mesh point. Let's have a look at the router first, which is this one on the left. So it's actually pretty lightweight, and one of the reasons I went for the Amplifi Alien system is that the design is just so clean and minimalist, unlike some of the other routers out there which look more like drones, to be honest, with all the antennas poking out of them. And then the mesh point is a very similar design as well. It's actually a very similar weight. I just like how they look the same and the design is pretty consistent. So let's go ahead and open up the router now. And that plastic just coming off sounded so nice. Bit of ASMR for you there. And I really like the matte black finish on this as well. So on the back, you've obviously got the Ethernet ports, each of which will support gigabit Ethernet output. And on the bottom, you have the power supply, obviously, and the gigabit internet input as well. So that just plugs into your standard router. And nice that there's an LED indicator on there as well to let you know that it's working. And it seems to also be picking up a few finger marks initially, but I think they'll probably just fade in a second. Talking of LEDs, there's also a big LED light all around the bottom of the router as well, which lights up in green. So yeah, I'm really happy with that, really like it. Let's have a look at the mesh point now. And this is something you place somewhere else in your house, and the router just connects to it and basically just expands the signal. So if you've got a big house, it's going to be really helpful for you. There's actually an Ethernet port on the bottom of this one as well if you want to plug something in. The mesh point has an LED light here on the bottom as well. I'll probably end up just turning these off. So there's a touch display on the front of the router, which is really cool, not something that many others have. Overall they look great, really clean and simple design, and I'm really happy with them. So let's have a look at what else is in the box here. So first up, we've got some quick starter guides which look super simple. So you can see here there's a QR code that you can scan to get going, or just download the app. So I've already downloaded the app actually, and it's really good. It's one of the main reasons I got this, so I'll show you that in a moment. And it's just a quick start guide for the mesh point here as well, which looks like it's just plug and play, to be honest. Really simple 4-step process. And then obviously there's the router setup guide as well, which again looks really straightforward. So apart from that, at the bottom of the box we've got the Ethernet cable itself, which by the way also looks really slick. It's actually been made flat, so it takes up less space, which is a really nice touch. I really like that. And also there's a little side point here I just wanted to mention. I love these little Velcro cable ties you can get in packaging like this. It's always good to keep these around and not throw them away. Just get them in your toolbox. They're going to be really useful at some point for you to tidy up other cables. I just like to keep them anyway. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, back to the actual video. Apart from the Ethernet port, on the bottom of this plastic tray we also get 2 power cables, one for each of the routers. Now, one thing to mention here, which you might have already noticed, these are actually European plugs. So if you're in Europe, that's great, and if you're in the US or Canada, then you'll just get the North American plug. But if you're in the UK, not so much. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Amplifi have just not started including UK plugs in their kit, which is a little annoying, so I really hope this is something they can fix soon because I really like their stuff. In the meantime though, I basically just had to order a couple of power cables from Amazon, which were about £6 each, about $7. So I'll link to those in the description below for you guys if you want to get the same setup. So let's get the router plugged in and everything set up. And the first thing to say is it looks really cool, very simple and futuristic. I'm not sure how I feel yet about the green LED at the bottom, which I mentioned earlier. So I'll probably just turn that off eventually. It's a shame in a way you can't customize the colors of the system. This green isn't really my style, but anyway, doesn't matter. The other thing to mention is that the touchscreen on the front is actually really helpful. It also displays the key info you'd want to see, like the current upload speed and download speeds, the Wi-Fi connection strength across the home, and also the devices that are connected as well. The setup app is also really easy to use and helpful. I mentioned that again earlier. It just walks you through the process and helps you get everything sorted really quickly. After you've got everything connected, the phone will just ask you to turn on Bluetooth to connect to the router. And then once it's connected, you can name your Wi-Fi network and then give it a password. So let's just use Baby Yoda as the password. Why not? So once that's all plugged in, you'll be taken through to the main app, which is super easy to use. In fact, the overall setup is really fast. The LED at the bottom basically just flashes until it's established a connection, and then you might need to go and do a quick firmware update. So I just thought I'd do a quick speed test at the router to show you guys what kind of speeds we're getting before I connect the gigabit internet. So that's the current setup. Now let's connect the mesh system, which I'm just going to put upstairs in the house. And the app's really useful because it also tells you if the mesh point is too close or too far away from the router, so you can find the perfect boost point. So now that's in and working, I'm just going to do another speed test. And as you can see, it's exactly the same. Basically, my internet is so slow that there's no Wi-Fi lag anyway. Just to put that into perspective, let's come off the Wi-Fi so I can show you guys how quick my 4G mobile connection is. And look at that, it's pretty much double the speed. So anyway, let's connect up the gigabit internet now and see how that changes things. So now that it's connected, let's do another speed test here at the router. And wow, pretty dramatic difference. So we're actually getting almost 500 down, which is pretty impressive. And let's just check the upload speed as well. And that's about 100 up. So 500 down, 100 up. I'm actually really chuffed with that. That's brilliant. And the upload speed, especially for me, is pretty important given I'm uploading 4K videos to YouTube every week. So let's also just check the speed test in the bedroom, which will be connecting to the Wi-Fi point. And so once again here, that's pretty impressive. Obviously it's not quite as strong as by the router, but still very good. So this mesh system is so fast because it's Wi-Fi 6 ready, which essentially means it's going to be good for speeds up to about 4 gigabytes per second when internet eventually gets there. It's also dual band Wi-Fi 6, which means it has a better range coverage, better signal strength, and copes with multiple devices more easily due to its larger bandwidth. So if you're in a house like mine where you've got loads of devices connecting and competing for the same internet connection and trying to stream 4K video content, and this is definitely what you want in the future. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm really happy with the new Wi-Fi system. I still think I need to optimize it a bit better as the speeds should be a little faster than what they are. But coming from 12 megabytes per second to 300 to 400 megabytes per second is pretty awesome. I think it's probably something to do with the number of devices I've got connected in this room, and there's already about 7 devices in here, which will create a lot of interference. So I'll sort that out soon. Obviously you're never going to get the full 1 gigabytes per second without an Ethernet cable, which is how I usually connect my laptop anyway. But to be honest, getting speeds of 300 to 400 down over Wi-Fi is absolutely plenty for most people, and definitely for my needs. I think the ease of the entire setup process of the Amplifi Alien make it a great option, and I absolutely love the design as well. It's a really great option if you've got a large house. Anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know what kind of speeds you guys are currently getting around the world. Hope you enjoyed the video, and remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more.